So today, we're diving into a topic that hits home for a lot of us, financial freedom. But we're looking at it through a slightly different lens, slow living.
Yeah, and that combo sounds almost contradictory at first, right? Financial freedom often gets associated with hustle culture, side gigs, grinding. Meanwhile, slow living is all about, well, slowing down.
Exactly. I used to think they were totally at odds with each other. Like, if you wanted financial freedom, you had to sacrifice your peace. But what if that wasn't true?
That's such a good question. I think it starts with defining what enough really means for you. I mean, if we don't know what enough is, how can we ever say we're free?
Totally. For me, enough is just covering my essentials, having time for people I love, and space for simple joys, like coffee in the garden or a quiet walk. Nothing extravagant.
I love that. Mine's similar, but I do get joy from things like travel or certain tech gadgets. And that's okay too, as long as it's intentional and not just impulse-driven.
Right, it has to align with your values. Once you've defined that version of enough, the next logical step is understanding your cash flow. Like, what's actually coming in and going out.
I use a simple spreadsheet for that. Monthly income at the top, then fixed expenses, rent, utilities, subscriptions, and then variable stuff like groceries or dining out. Do you track yours too?
Oh yeah, religiously. And I even mark the estimates with a little asterisk, so I know where I might be overspending. Helps me hit my savings targets more consistently.
Honestly, it's amazing how just writing things down changes your mindset. Suddenly it's like, do I really want to spend $80 on takeout this month?
Exactly. It builds awareness. And when you're aiming for financial freedom without burnout, awareness is everything. Like, I'd rather put that $80 into an ETF and let it grow.
Speaking of growth, debt is a big deal here. Paying off debt was probably one of the most freeing things I've ever done. No more late fees, no more anxiety, just clean, clear progress.
Same here. Once I got rid of my debt, every dollar I earned felt like mine again. It was like giving myself a raise without actually changing my income.
But man, that took a mindset shift. When I was younger, I didn't even think about saving. I was like, I've got time, I'll figure it out later. Sound familiar?
Oh, for sure. I used to treat money like it would always just be there. But you realize quickly, every dollar you spend is literally a slice of your life, your time, your energy.
That's why I think frugality gets a bad rap. It's not about being cheap, it's about being mindful. For me, it's about avoiding debt, reaching goals, and reducing waste, all at once.
Yes, especially that last part. Watching that documentary, Buy Now, Shopping Conspiracy, was a wake-up call. Like, our stuff doesn't just vanish when we toss it. It lingers.
Totally. It's disturbing, honestly. Plastics, toxins, metals, they end up in our water, in our food, in us. Slow living becomes an act of environmental responsibility, too.
Which circles back to the point. Every purchase is a vote for the world we want to live in. The less we consume mindlessly, the better we live. For ourselves and everyone else.
Amen to that. I mean, I'm not perfect. I still buy things I probably don't need sometimes. But being intentional about even a few purchases can ripple out into real change.
December is when I do a little financial audit. Not because of the holidays. I don't celebrate them in a traditional way, but because I like to reflect. See what worked, what didn't.
I do the same. I actually split my income between two accounts, one for savings and one for shared expenses. My partner and I go 50-50 on rent, groceries, all that.
That's smart. And I love that you also leave room for joy expenses, like eating out or seeing friends. Because slow living doesn't mean zero fun. It just means thoughtful fun.
Exactly. And since savings accounts aren't exactly generous with interest, we also invest, mostly ETFs, some for high dividends, others for growth. We reinvest the dividends too.
That's the power of compounding. Even if the gains seem small now, over time it snowballs. But yeah, research is key. Never throw your money into something just because it looks shiny.
Totally. And don't forget, investing has risks. It's not a magic trick. It takes patience, strategy, and a long-term mindset. That's where the slow part comes back again.
Yep. Financial freedom doesn't have to start big. It starts with one conscious step, then another, and eventually you realize you're living the life you actually want.
That's the dream, isn't it? Not to escape work altogether, but to choose work that feels meaningful. Something that feeds your soul instead of draining it.
Like the Japanese idea of ikigai, purposeful living, where work is part of your joy, not your prison. That, to me, is true financial freedom.
Couldn't agree more. And honestly, I think that's something we all deserve. A life that feels good now, not just in some distant retirement fantasy.
So maybe the real question isn't, how much do I need? But what kind of life do I want to wake up to every day?
Love that. Let's leave our listeners with that thought. Take time to define your enough, and let that be your compass toward a slower, freer, more intentional life.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Tech Review. We hope this conversation gave you some fresh insight into how slowing down, simplifying, and being intentional, with a little help from tech, can actually lead to a more fulfilling and financially free life. If you found value in this episode, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming content. Until next time, stay mindful, stay simple, and stay tech-wise. Warm regards from all of us here at Tech